right, baby. We are live in action, you guys. When you hear the intro, you know what time it is. It's Thursday. Come get your football fix in the locker room show. So we've got an amazing show lined up for you guys tonight. You players, you parents, you coaches out there, you football fans, and then you guys. We got a lot to get ready for this off season. So we've got a great guest. You guys might be used to seeing Q the Guru with me, but unfortunately, the Guru is at the doctor's office. Maybe he didn't see that in his crystal ball, but he's at the doctor's office tonight. So it is just me and Tommy. He may be joining us later, but we've got a hell of a show for you guys tonight. This is one of our own with Before You Go Pro. This is somebody that I knew was a playmaker as soon as I seen his film in high school, you guys. It is crazy how fast time flies. Now he is an all-conference, all-academic performer. He is at Mercer University, you guys. Defensive back, Division I program. He's playing some big-time football, and that is none other than the great Tommy Bliss. How's it going, superstar?
I'm pretty well. I'm pretty well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, this is long overdue. I've been waiting to have you. I wanted to wait till the season was over because I know how focused you were, but thank you for coming on tonight. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
All right. So, hey, let's get after it. If you guys are joining us for the first time, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. We want to grow this football community. So whether you're joining us live or you're checking out the recording, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We bring in the best of the best, you guys, every single week. People that are really in the industry to help teach you. So let's get into it, man. We've got the great Tommy Bliss with us. And if you're joining us for the first time, all the topics are on the bottom ticker. So you see what we're starting off with. And this one, Tommy, is D1 ready. D1 ready. I know that your junior year, you had an injury. I know that your senior year, you were kind of wondering how it was going to go. When did you have the confirmation that you were that level of player?
I think a lot of my support really came from my high school coaches. Originally, um, I had my defensive coordinator in high school was a Hall of Fame player at JMU. He was a safety himself. And he told me one day I was playing receiver and he said, "Why don't you try defensive back out?" And, I played a couple games. He told me he told me I reminded him of himself. And, that was an instant boost of confidence. And I was just flattered to be, thought of that highly. But like ultimately, I think that I knew my work ethic kind of separated me from the rest of the crowd. I was constantly going out and getting extra footwork or lifting extra weights or doing some kind of extra work that I thought would, put me one day ahead of the rest. And so I always just figured if there was something that was gonna separate me from the rest of the crowd, it was gonna be how hard I worked. And I'm standing where I'm at today, and I think that's, I don't know, obviously I got to give all my credit to God, but it's just, you know, there's one thing that's like never gonna stop being consistent, and that's just hard work is gonna be a part of the equation. So
I love it. I love it. And yes, he has always been a hard worker, you guys. So when did that itch first start? I know that the coach was confirmation, but did you want to play D1 ball from a very young age, or did you kind of get the idea in high school?
it had been my dream since I was about 5 years old. I mean, I was watching
Okay.
them on the TV, and I knew that's who I wanted to be and where I wanted to be. I just didn't know. Obviously, as you get older, you realize that's kind of out of your control, and it really comes to where you end up having opportunities to go play. But um, I'm blessed to have found a home that like I've been comfortable at for 4 years, and uh, so absolutely, that's been a part of the plan since I was just a kid, and I'm blessed to be able to live it out that way. So.
I love it, Tommy. And I know that Mercer's happy to have you. I know there were some other options, but Mercer kept you home, and that's a good deal there. Going on to our next topic, man. I mean, obviously there were adjustments. You know, you're strong, you're fast, you're quick, but you're not the biggest guy in the world. And there's mental adjustments, there's off the field adjustments. So maybe for the athletes that are listening, what would you say? Give me one big on the field adjustment and one off the field adjustment you had to make to college.
I would say, obviously I'm not the most physical gifted uh, out of the group, so there's got to be some kind of extra uh, piece that, doesn't quite meet the eye. And so when I first got to Mercer, I'd learned every single safety position that there was. We play, three safeties on the field at once. One of them's kind of a hybrid linebacker, but um, the best ability is availability, and I wanted to make sure I was prepared to play at any spot that I could possibly get playing time. And so when I learned the playbook, um, I would spend extra time with my coach, asking him questions about, what's the assignment for the SAM, or what's the assignment for the free safety, or what's the assignment for our boundary safety. And so it really came down to spending extra time one on one with the coach, and you know learn the playbook from front cover to back cover. And so that's definitely what I think has kind of set me apart on the field. And then off the field, I would say um, I had a great role model. He was an All American, four-time All Conference safety ahead of me. His name was Lance Wise. And
Okay.
he became like an older brother to me, and he's graduated now. But, he really took me under his wing. And having a guy like that who can just kind of direct you, guide your steps to, like, where should I go to class? Where should I get my meals? Where should I be when I lift weights or am in warm up lines? And like when you're first in college, you don't know anything. And so having somebody like that who's willing to guide you in the right direction was absolutely like crucial in my development. I'm so thankful that he was there for me. And, I try to do the same myself now. It's just kind of pass it on to the next generation because there's always going to be somebody behind you. And, you want them to continue to set the tone for the culture of the program. And so um, those were definitely some of the things like the contributing factors, I would say.
I love the fact that you brought that up. Is that something that maybe a player can pick up on a recruiting trip or a visit? How the teammates could potentially be, or is that something you have to wait until you get there to find out?
Obviously, when recruits are hosting or recruits are being hosted by active players, everybody's trying to be friendly. It's part of the player's job is to show them a good time and draw them into the program and reel their interest. But um, obviously, there's like different personalities that mesh or don't mesh, and you'll kind of get a pretty quick feel for that, I would say. And um, I knew from the start when I was, they would invite us out to watch a spring practice, and um, I was just kind of trying to get to introduce myself to the guys that I already committed at that point, and
Yeah,
um, you know, just talking, hey, and Lance, like I just mentioned, like, my name is Tommy, and oh, what's up? Come meet all the guys. Like immediately, I knew like I kind of had a group of brothers who would just
good
kind of take me
connection.
in, and if you feel like maybe that's not your experience, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Obviously,
Yeah,
like it's a bunch of older guys who don't really know your name yet. Um, and I kind of have a funny story on my first day of practice. I was on the smaller side, and we were going to defensive back drills, and they told me that the kickers were practicing on the opposite end of the field. I was like, I'm a safety, and I still had all that weight to gain. I've put on 20 pounds of muscle since then, so
yeah.
you know, definitely changed my body. But like, I would just take it all in stride. There's never, one right way to go about things. And, you know, like I said, I'm blessed to have had the friends and, the like older presence that I had when I first showed up. But that might not be everybody's experience, and I wouldn't let that deter you. But, certainly it's a factor is like, where would I fit in best? And so, yeah, I think, it's important, but it's not the end all be all per se.
I love it. And now guys are bouncing all over the place too. So, you may not get the friendly older guy gesture that you got, So
Sure.
you young athletes out there though, that listen to what he said. He said that he learned every single position that he might possibly play at. And then he got under somebody that was doing it right, an older guy on the team that could point him in the right direction. So you guys take advantage of that. Some of you guys are going to college soon. Thank you for sharing that. We're on to our next topic, you guys. And if you're joining us for the first time, I'm your host, Coach Wood. You got the great Tommy Bliss, DB at Mercer University with us. They had a great season this year, almost went all the way in the FCS. This next topic, Tommy, definitely interested to get your opinion on this one. For years, man, the SEC, and I know you're from SEC country in Georgia, has been running the show in college football. If you look at the last, I believe, maybe 16 years, 18 years, they've won about 13 or 14 national championships. But the last 2 years, the Big Ten has been doing their thing. And then obviously not too long ago, Ohio State brought a natty home. So I want to ask you, Tommy, when we talk about, domination, college football domination, are we to a new day and age, man, where the SEC is going to start taking a back seat? Or is this just business as usual? They got lucky for a couple years in the Big Ten.
Well, I was born in Florida, raised in Georgia, and some of my best friends are from Alabama. So might be the most biased person you could ask about this. And I'll always say that the SEC is the best conference. But, recently, I mean, like I'm still trying to play fair, and uh the Big Ten has had their spot in the lights for the last 2 years, I guess you could say, and it's hard not to see it. I mean, even Penn State and Oregon now are making it in the playoffs, and they're teams that like aren't your usual suspects, like the Ohio States and Michigans, and so I mean, obviously blue bloods, but you know, how could I go against my bread and butter where I was born and raised, and say that the Big Ten's better than the SEC? I don't know, but
I
certainly
don't
in
want to
recent
get you in
years, it
trouble.
seemed like that. So.
Yes, indeed. I don't want to get you in trouble. And then, like we said, it has been pure domination. I mean, you could look right here, and the SEC has been the kings of the country when it comes to college football. So, very, very interesting, you guys, for us to see with the transfer portal, and guys being able to get paid by these other schools. Will it be the Big Ten stepping up? Big 12 looks far behind. ACC looks far behind, but maybe the SEC will be back at it. So we'll look and see. But Tommy Bliss, SEC country, says the SEC is still the top dog. So I'm probably gonna roll with them on that one. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and this one's an interesting one, Tommy. I mean, every time you look at the NCAA getting sued, it seems like now they're giving in. We had the JC thing, and now kids can transfer anywhere. But we've obviously got a freak. Anybody can tell that Jeremiah Smith is a freak of nature at Ohio State, and really, to be honest with you, when it came to the nitty gritty of the national championship, who did they go to? They went to number 4. So I'm interested to find out from you, Tommy, because you're an active college football player. Do you think the days of needing to stay in college 3 years or be 3 years removed from high school, do you think those days need to be over?
I mean, for a generational talent like Jeremiah Smith, how could you deny that guy that kind of opportunity? I mean, he's kind of proven already he's ready to play at the next level, I think. I mean, like even just, in build and athleticism, like a guy like that is ready. But that's like a one in a million generational talent kind of thing. And my unique perspective as a former walk-on who's been put on scholarship now is um like development is key. And so like, a lot of guys might think even that they're ready to play at that next level, but um, football's a unique sport in that like the physicality of the game is just, that's where you win or lose. And so, if you're trying to send an 18-year-old who just got their high school diploma to go play off in the NFL, they're different body types. Like I said, I put on 20 pounds in a year, and like that totally changed my game. And so, I'm not saying that it can't be done. Obviously, guys um like I'm forgetting his name. I'm sorry, wide receiver from Alabama. I played him this year, Ryan Williams.
Oh yeah, Williams. Yeah,
To say
yeah,
like he's not the biggest, but he's dominated college football too in his first year, and so you know,
yeah,
there's exceptions for sure, but the reality is that most people don't go on to play in the NFL. And the 3-year rule at least guarantees you that you're 1 year away from a degree if you stayed on, your educational path. And so, if you need to come back and finish your education, then it gives guys opportunities to do that because football is not forever. And so, um, obviously, like there's a lot of us out there that's the dream, is playing on Sundays, but it's not always the reality. So you got to be real with yourself and say like that 3-year rule is probably uh, not going anywhere. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe it does, and then guys like Jeremiah Smith capitalize off of it. But I just like I said, it's more of a 1 in a million chance thing than it is
yeah.
a common occurrence. So
Yeah. No, that's right there is a good response, a very level-headed. I mean, this is a one in a lifetime unicorn with Jeremiah Smith. His situation, I don't know what his parents are thinking, but it's a dilemma for him personally. But for most of us, for the majority, you're not going to be ready in 3 years removed from high school to compete against the guys in the NFL. So hopefully he can stay healthy. Ohio State's happy they get him for 2 more years as long as they can pay him, and we'll see where things go for young Jeremiah. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and this one's a big one, Tommy, because you came out right before, right around that virus, and kind of missed the whole portal deal. But right now, there is a lot going on with high school players being put on the back burner for transfer portal kids. And it is causing some high school players to not get the same opportunities that maybe they would have 4 or 5 years prior. Now we have the junior college players getting an extra year too, Tommy. So everybody seems to be looking out for the kids who are already in college, but less and less kids are getting that D1 opportunity or that high D2 opportunity. Do you think that the NCAA needs to step in and develop some kind of quota to make sure that not too many high school kids get left behind?
um, it's funny that you asked that because I don't know if we're asking the right question. Is
Hmm.
it more appropriate to ask whether or not we should limit the amount of kids that a team can bring in from the portal, or should you limit the amount of times that a guy can transfer? And I think it's more likely that you should be able to limit the guy transferring multiple times. And, like I said in the previous question, development is key. And everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side of the fence when sometimes the reality is the grass is greener where you water it. And so, right now guys are also getting paid, just large sums of money to go play at another school. And that's life-changing money. That makes it easier to start your own life out of college, even if you don't make it to the league. And so guys are jumping all over that right now. But um, whether you should limit players or not, I'm not sure. My team, Mercer, just won a conference championship, and some of our key players were transfers. They were our, like some of the like star players, I would say. But the backbone of our team, we went through a coaching staff change the same year. We won conference championship with the first year under this new staff. None of those guys that were on our old team transferred out. And like that's very rare that happens nowadays, but like we kind of knew what we had in our own program, and the backbone of our team and the main buildup was guys who had been there for a long time. And so, you know, like we kind of trickled in some transfers in where we knew we needed some production, but um I think coaches, who like, in my case, I'm in an FCS school, who
Yeah.
realize that they're out of school without the same kind of resources as like a Texas A&M or an Ohio State. who can't just rebuild a team off of, transfers every year and reload all their guys. It's like you kind of have to find that balance and really get your team in from high school and let them be around each other, play with each other. And, this is just my opinion because we won a conference championship with this formula, but
Yeah.
obviously that's not the only way to do it. But, I would say that like limiting it isn't a bad idea, but I think you should limit the amount of times that a guy could transfer in general because eventually you gotta put a stop to how many guys are in that like flood of names. I mean, I think there were like something over 6,000 guys in the
Yeah.
portal through this cycle, and it's kind of getting ridiculous. And so even the guys in the portal aren't finding any more homes, and so it's like, you know, how can you limit that? I would say you limit the amount of times that they can do it. So, maybe they try to make a better decision, not just based off of the next bag of money, which is obviously I'm not against that. Like that's great that some guys can get access to that, but it's just, you gotta eventually settle down and start to water where your feet are.
That's good right there. And I appreciate you being open and candid with that. I mean, like you said, maybe it is. And I see the great Jimmy Rucker in here. He says, we need a JT Daniels rule. So, yeah, JT Daniels went with about 6 different transfers. And yeah, Kurt Signetti built Indiana with transfers. A lot of them were from his team at James Madison. So, those were kids he was still familiar with. But yeah, very interesting to see how each program builds their program, and it's starting to become very clear because we deal with a lot of these schools. Some of them like to stay towards high school kids, but some of them are making it very clear. My alma mater being one of them, Colorado, that they're going to lean towards portal and make it a free agent type deal. So thank you for sharing that, Tommy. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and this is the lightning round. The lightning round, baby. And the fun part of the show that everybody loves. And we put our guests, you guys, through a little bit of a word association blitz. So we got the great Tommy Bliss with us, Mercer Ball Hawk, and he's got 60 seconds, you guys, to go through our gauntlet of questions. So, Tommy, we're going to put you through a little blitz, baby. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right, so I've got my list here, and once again, this is Before You Go Pro's very own. I've known this young man since high school. He's always been a dog. He's always been motivated, and it's all playing out in college, and I love it to death. So we've got him for our lightning round, and we've got our list ready. So let me get the stopwatch ready to go. Now, Tommy, I know that you're not a starving athlete, maybe like when I was in college, but I know you could still use a good meal, So we don't just do this for fun, baby. We actually got a little wager on it. If you can get to 12 or higher, you get a dinner on the locker room show. You get dinner on the locker room show. As long as
Yes,
it
sir.
holds off season, as long as nobody beats you. So we've got Tommy, the great Tommy Bliss at 0. So I'm not cheating him. And we've got our list right here. So don't elaborate. First thing that comes to your head, the best rule is one word. Try to go one word and on to the next. All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's rock and roll. The lightning round with Tommy Bliss, and we are about to get started. The first thing that comes to his head, unfiltered. All right. Number 1, Tommy. Richmond Hill High School. Go.
Matt Lazat, head coach.
Hot dog or sausage link?
Hot dog.
Favorite game day song?
Uh, transporting Kodak.
Best player you ever played against?
Jalen Milrow.
Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson. Go Ravens.
Surf or hang glide?
Surf.
Coach Jamal Brown?
Colorado Buffs.
Pancakes, French toast, or waffles?
Pancakes.
Eagles or Redskins? 50 seconds.
Uh, Eagles.
Celebrity crush. Time.
Ah,
And I don't want to get you in trouble. I know you might have a girlfriend out there, so but you did great. You did great. So let's add them up and let's revisit. And once again, 12 was the number. 12 was the number for the great Tommy Bliss to get a free dinner on the Locker Room Show. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you, Tommy, is you get one for tech delay. Since you're in Georgia, I'm in California, even 11 keep you in the hut. So let's add them up. Let's add them up. All right, let's see what Tommy
okay.
did. So number one was Richmond Hills High School. That's his old high school. He said Matt Lizette. Did you say Matt Lizette?
Matt Lazat. That's my old head
Matt
coach.
Lizette. That's his old coach. That's his old high school. That was number one. Number two, hot dog or sausage lake. Tommy said, give me the hot dog, coach. Number three, favorite game day song. He said, Transporting by Kodak. Number five, or number four, excuse me, best player you ever played against, Jalen Milroe, who's a bad dude. We all know. Number five, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. He said, give me Lamar Jackson, go Ravens. Number six, surfing or hang gliding. He said, don't put me in the air. I'm going surfing. Number eight, we've got Coach Jamal Brown, old coach. He's going to, I didn't know he was going to the Buffs. All right. So he said Colorado Buffs. Number
I told
nine.
you. Sorry, I feel like I should explain that one. We had a conversation about Colorado just yesterday, so that was the
Oh,
first thing that came to mind. He's going to be
so he's
staying here. He's
staying.
a Bowling Green graduate, so it might
Okay.
not make much sense, but yeah.
All right, so there you go. Well, hopefully you talk about my alma mater kind of good. Pancakes, French toast, or waffles. Number 10, he said he's going with the pancakes. Eagles or Redskins for number 11. He said he's going with the Eagles. And then we didn't get the celebrity crush, which might have been a good thing for Tommy. So with the tech delay, he's got 12. He's got 12. That means he is tied for the lead, and we may have to bring you back, Tommy, if nobody beats 12 in the off season. So great job, man,
Thank
on
you, thank
round, and definitely appreciate you having fun with us. I see some people coming in; they think I'm always cheating to guess. So I see some people, Tommy. Oh, we got Butler coming in. He said, "Tell Tommy, good to have you, Butler. To queef on my burrito." Oh, that must be one of your boys on the team or something. But great job by Tommy there. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and that is the audience Q&A. So if you do have a question for the great Tommy Bliss, you're with us live, please feel free to put that on the comment section. And I have a question for you, Tommy. You decided to go the PWO route. And some of our athletes are deciding on that now. Now, you got on the field pretty quickly and earned a scholarship. Uh, Give us, I know there's no exact blueprint, but give us a little bit of the sauce. Give us a little bit of Tommy's secret sauce, how you went from PWO to scholarship and on the field so quickly.
Man, I know it's going to sound backwards, but stay off the coach's desk. The only reason that freshmen get brought up to the coach's office is because they did something wrong 90% of the time. Unless it was during, a fall camp practice or something, they're probably not talking about you for a good reason. And
Mm,
so, be where you're supposed to be 5 minutes early, eat all your meals, make your weight, don't skip reps in the weight room. I mean, you just got to do every last detail right when you first show up because you never know when the coaches are watching. And so, I just happened to get my chance early, but I know a lot of guys who didn't get that same opportunity. And so, um, and I would say that the difference between me and them is that, you know, the attention to detail wasn't always there. And so, like, that's what I would say. I know it sounds so backwards to say stay off the coach's desk, but um, you know, not all publicity is good publicity, as they might say. So, uh, you know, that's like one tip that maybe a lot of guys don't understand is that there's more to football than just playing out on the field. Um,
yes.
the coaches got to be able to trust that you're going to do right no matter what, because you know their salaries on the line at the end of the day, and they have to rely on 18 to 23-year-old to do it. So
Yeah.
Show that you're trustworthy.
No, that is great right there, Tommy. And you've been from day one working your tail off to get what you deserve, man. Not no handouts. You just went out there and took somebody's lunch. Before I let you go, tell us the scholarship story, man. How did you find out you were going from PWO to scholarship?
Well, at the end of every season, we get our end of season meetings in with our head coach, and um, you know, I was one of the first people to be texted. He texted me personally, said, "Hey, Tommy, I want to meet with you at this specific time." And I was like, I kind of knew by then, like it's either he's going to tell me that they aren't going to be able to do it, or they are going to be able to do it. And first thing he said, he just gave me a big hug, said, "Tommy, you know, you don't have to worry about it anymore. We're gonna take care of you." And so, I mean, obviously the first thing I want to do is call my parents. I was just about to bounce off the wall, but yeah, keep your composure for the rest of the meeting with your head coach first. And so it's like I'm impatiently waiting on him to get through all the things that he's saying so I can tell my family about it. But it was pretty surreal. It's just kind of justification for all my hard work. And,
Yeah.
obviously I'm thankful that, he ended up giving me that opportunity. But um you know, just felt like I earned it. So
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to
you
let my
earned it.
family know.
You earned it, baby, and so proud of you, man. So, hey, thank you for coming on the Locker Room Show, Tommy. I know it's the off season, but keep doing your thing, man. We're super proud of you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So, hey, you guys, that is the great Tommy Bliss. Once again, this is somebody that, he didn't have anything handed to him. This is somebody that had to be a PWO. He had to go to preferred walk on route. He has won since then and earned a scholarship and became a true factor on the Mercer defense. They love him up there. Every time we call up there and talk to somebody connected with the program, they love Tommy Bliss. That's you guys right there that are fighting for that scholarship opportunity or that roster spot. Listen to Tommy. Run this back. He learned every position that he could possibly learn that he may play, and he made sure that he stayed off the coach's desk. He went to all his classes, went to all his workouts. He was never a problem for the coaches. All right. So, hey, hopefully you guys got a lot out of tonight's Locker Room Show. I know you did. Next week, we will have the Guru back with us for our comic relief. Hopefully he's gonna get out of the doctor's office okay. We got to check on the Guru. If you're joining us and you do not know that Before You Go Pro is much more than the Locker Room Show, then please go to www.beforeyougopro.com. We serve athletes just like Tommy around the country, you guys. This is a crazy industry, and we want to be there to support you. So we actually help kids get off to college. We have a database that has all of our available prospects. We have resources for you guys to take advantage of. Also, some of you guys are now starting to partake in NIL activities. So you need to go to nillllc.org. I'm going to say that again, nillllc.org, and make sure that you are prepared for the launch coming this spring, because there's going to be free resources, and we're going to teach you how to get to the bag and save your money and make more money, okay, as student athletes. So definitely check out nillllc.org, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and share. We're building this football community together, and we need you, and we want you to bring a friend. All right, bring a friend. So, hey, that is it for tonight's Locker Room Show. We have an amazing guest lined up for you next week. We got Super Bowl coming up. There's a lot going on. A lot of you guys got trips to universities. We've got off-season camps, trainings that we're going to be talking about. So continue to rock with us every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Guru will be back with us next week. I'm Coach Wood. We'll definitely see you at the top. Have a good one.